The sun hung low over the bustling town, casting long shadows over the narrow streets. It was a town of dreamers, of workers, of people who never stopped moving. But for some, it was also a town of disappointments. In the heart of this town lived a young man named Carlos. He had come here full of dreams, hoping to make a name for himself. But now he sat alone by the river at the town's edge, watching the water flow past him. His hands were calloused, his clothes worn, his eyes tired. Carlos had tried everything. First, he worked as an apprentice in a carpenter's shop. He spent weeks learning to carve wood, but no matter how hard he tried, his hands never seemed to shape the wood the right way. His master scolded him, saying he was too slow, too clumsy. Eventually, he was let go. Then, he tried selling fruit in the marketplace. He woke up before dawn, carried heavy baskets on his back, and shouted prices until his throat hurt. But the other vendors had been there for years. They had loyal customers. No one paid attention to the new seller. After weeks of struggling, he had to leave that job too. Next, he found work as a messenger, running through the town delivering letters. But one day in the heavy rain, he slipped in the mud and lost an important letter. His employer yelled at him, calling him useless. That night, he sat in his tiny rented room, staring at dark atmosphere outside, wondering if he would ever be good at anything. And now, he was here by the river, feeling lost. The riverbank was quiet except for the gentle sound of water meeting stone. The town's noise faded in the distance. It was a place where people came to think, to escape. An old man, wrapped in a simple brown robe, walked slowly toward Carlos. His beard was gray, his eyes kind but sharp, as if he had seen the struggles of many before. He sat down beside Carlos without a word. For a while, they both watched the water. Then the old man spoke. "You seem troubled, young man." Carlos sighed. "I try so hard, but nothing ever works. I failed at everything. No matter what I do, life keeps pushing me down." The old man didn't reply right away. He simply picked up a small stone and tossed it into the river. The water swallowed it instantly. Then he pointed at a large rock by the water's edge. "Do you see that stone?" Carlos nodded. "Look closer," the old man said. Carlos leaned in and noticed something, a shallow hollow carved into the surface of the rock. It was smooth as if something had been rubbing against it for years. "That was made by water," the old man said. Carlos frowned. "But water is soft. That stone is solid rock." The old man smiled. "Yes, but drop by drop, stream by stream, day after day, the water wore it down. Not with strength, not with force, but with patience." Carlos stared at the rock, deep in thought. The old man continued, "Life is the same way. You will face hardships. You will fail. You will feel like nothing is changing. But every effort, no matter how small, leaves a mark. The world does not reward those who give up. It rewards those who endure." Carlos's hands clenched into fists. "But I've tried so many times. I've worked so hard, and every time I get nothing but failure." The old man nodded. "Failure is not the end. It is just a delay in success. Like the water hitting the rock. It may not seem like it's working, but one day the stone will break, and you too will break through." Carlos swallowed. He thought about the carpenter's shop, the market, the lost letter. Each time he had failed. Each time he had stopped. But what if he hadn't? "So you're saying, even if I don't see results now, I should keep going?" The old man smiled. "Yes, because strength is not about never falling. It is about getting up every time you do. Keep going, young man. Be like the water." The sun had nearly set. The town lights flickered in the distance, calling him back. But something inside Carlos felt lighter now. He stood up, brushing the dust off his clothes. He wasn't done yet. As he walked back toward the town, he no longer felt defeated. He knew there would be struggles ahead. He knew he might fail again. But this time, he wouldn't stop. Everything he went through was just process toward success. Even the hardest rock can be worn down.